Now the second axis is what I call your weapon axis. This is kind of tied in with the third axis in that they're kind of at the same level. The camera is just above the weapons a little bit, but they're at pretty close to the same level. And your weapons might as well be tied into the camera as well, because your aiming reticle is on the same display as the camera. So basically, your weapon axis is 90 degrees to the left and to the right, so you have a full range of 180 degrees for your weapons to move. And obviously you can move those up and down, but you've got that 180 degrees towards the front of the VT. So you can point your weapons all the way to the right or all the way to the left as well. Now the reason the camera axis is completely separate is because you only get about a 20, 30 degrees for your camera for your camera view. So if you have, like, you can look to the left or the right, but that's completely independent of where your weapons are looking. So you could have your weapons off to the left and be looking to the right. It doesn't matter where your weapons are. You could be going straight, looking to the right, and have your weapons to the left. You could have your weapons straight, looking left, and turning to the right while moving forward. So these axes are completely independent of each other. And the camera also goes at that 180 degrees that the weapons does. So you can't, if your weapons are all the way to the left and your camera's all the way to the left, your aiming reticle is going to be on the screen at that point, assuming it's not above the camera or below the camera. And also, it's worth noting that you can lock on to enemies in the game. So just because my aiming reticle is somewhere, usually I like to keep usually I like to keep the aiming reticle on the camera, but that's different than a lock. Because wherever your lock is where your weapons are pointing, but the aiming reticle can go off that lock and search around for other targets. When you're hovering over a target, your aiming reticle will turn big and red, so you'll know, oh, that's another target. Meanwhile, your weapons can be pointed off to the right or the left or wherever at a separate enemy. Okay, the last thing I want to mention before I go over some more of the controller, I want to touch on that again because I kind of slumped off on that. But the last thing I want to mention is ejecting. Another thing this game is fairly famous for is the fact that if you do not hit this eject button, I'll show you the eject button. Here it is, has a nice little cover. If you don't hit this button, when your VT is destroyed, you're gonna die. And I mean die. It doesn't matter if you've put 1,000 hours into the game. You are gonna die. You're gonna lose that pilot. You're gonna lose all your VTs on that pilot. You're gonna lose everything. So your pilot dies, and you can just never touch it ever again. You can never pilot as that pilot. You can never pilot a you can create another pilot, but then you have to go through the whole game again, acquire all your VTs again, all that kind of stuff. So it's a big pain in the ass. But it's really not, now you can't back up your save on a memory card. First of all, that's what I thought, but no, you can't do that. But I'd also like to say that it's really not that big of a deal, because in my entire Steel Battalion career, Steel Battalion Line of Contact and the original Steel Battalion combined, I've only really seriously been KIA'd 3 or 4 times. The rest were just for fun. But it's really not that common occurrence, and at least and at least 2 of those, maybe 3 of those 4 happened on the first day I got the game. So once you get used to it, it's not that big of a deal, and it's just kind of a cool little fact about the game. Now I'm going to go and touch on this controller one more time, because I said I would. So, this is about the view. I'm going to try and get you guys in the game, so you can actually kind of see what I'm doing. These are your startup sequence buttons. You got the cockpit hatch button, ignition button, start button. You got some map controls, main monitor zoom over here. This is your right stick, non-centering. So this controls your aiming reticle. You got your main weapon button, your sub weapon button. These take care of your weapon controls. You got lots of random stuff on here. You don't. Not really too necessary to cover all this. Yeah, your like weapon switching buttons, magazine change, washing the windshield, putting out fires, chaff button to avoid missiles. You got your tuner dial, which is for radio communications, and you got 5 communication buttons up here. You got switches over here. Like I said before, this controls your turning. The little joystick on top of this joystick controls your camera, and your gear shifter is over here. So I really hope I was able to explain to you some things about this game, and this is going to be quite the project. This one might go a little bit slowly because there's going to be lots of editing to do. And you'll see why. It's going to be fun, I'll tell you that. So please keep an eye out for that, and I'll finish uploading Black Arrow within the next couple days, and we'll move on. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a greater understanding of what the fuck... Well, I hope you're going to have a greater understanding than you would about what the fuck is going on when I start Steel Battalion. Thank you. Catch you next time.